right, let's talk about the one of the biggest tools that I can give anybody. Now there's a bunch, but what I call the informal sales pitch. So whether you are brand new, just started your agency, you've been in business for 10 years, 5 years, it doesn't matter. What you find when you approach a prospective client to potentially become a client is that they're seeing the exact same sales version, the exact same sales pitches, the exact same everything. I mean, it's like a broken record over and over and over and over again. And there's a couple of mistakes that we're going to go through of what we see, what I see, what I've experienced as a company owner for other companies I own being pitched by agencies, or being the person involved in the pitch process. Okay. And we have an upcoming episode that's called Pitch Perfect. And I'm going to talk about voice inflection, how to pitch, all of these other things. We're going to talk about all kinds of good stuff. But I want to give you guys a nugget, because if I can point back to the sales that I maybe made by mistake, and not really mistake, as a mistake, but how I created that relationship at the beginning, and when I really started to just create like that endless train of successes along the way, it all points back to what I call the informal sales pitch. So in this episode, what I'm going to talk about is pitching myself as if I'm the client and I'm pitching to one of my brands. And I'm going to use Agency Hacker as the example. So the first meeting, doing one of a couple of things. So you've gotten past the wedge or the receptionist. You've set a meeting, and we're going to talk about how to do that too. But now you're sitting in a room full of strangers, and there's a couple of things. There's unknowns, right? You don't know what their pain points are. You don't know what their motivations are. You don't want to act as if you know all of those things. And most importantly, the importance and the value of the informal sales pitch is it allows you to enter into that discussion without having all of the answers, without pitching and then putting yourself back in the line. The importance of that is if this prospective client is in a position where they're going after attaining services that you offer, they're probably also getting pitched by other agencies. So how do you combat that? Because that's the biggest fear. I'm going to walk in, I'm either going to undercut, I'm going to sound like, I'm going to sound off-putting, all of these different variables that are involved. So years ago, I created what I call the informal sales pitch, and it is the simplest thing. And we're going to talk about we're going to break off for just a moment, excuse me, and we're going to talk about what not to do. And what not to do is actually what 99.9% of the other agencies are doing. And then once we establish what that is and why that doesn't work, then we're going to come back and I'm going to walk you through a sales pitch using me as the example and pitching myself that informal sales pitch and gaining myself the opportunity, if I were the salesperson, to then set up another appointment, run them through the process, and build value and build a relationship all at the same time. You ready? All right. So let's talk about why salespeople fail, because it's brilliant, especially if you're brand new to agency work. You're so pumped full of confidence and you're so excited, but you're excited for the wrong reasons. You're excited and you have confidence in yourself, which is great. It's a great sales tool until it's overutilized. And your prospective clients can see that. They can tell the difference between confidence and knowledge and ability, which I did a show about. I think it was yesterday or the day before, or whatever that looks like. But they walk in and they call it, I call it O'Doyle's, the O'Doyle's. If you've seen, I think it's Billy Madison, the Adam Sandler movie, where, O'Doyle rules, we're the best and blah, blah, blah. Well, I got news for you. You're not. You're not the best. I promise that you are not the best. And the first step to realizing and gaining forward progress within building your agency is to realize that you aren't the best. But you also need to provide the better solution. So let's dig into this, okay? We've all sat through sales processes. We've all sat through pitches, and over and over and over again, it's here's what we're going to do, and here's why you suck. Number one rule in being successful in sales and pitching as an agency is do not tell your prospective client how much they suck. Okay? Don't do it, because they're proud of their brand. And there's ways to informally pitch them that allows you to point out, or actually allow them to point out, their own weaknesses, even if not outwardly, but plant that seed internally where you're saying, here's what we see. Here's what I see. Does this make sense? Does this give us an opportunity to provide a service that helps you grow and realize a positive return on investment by utilizing our services? We're not going to even state that. That's the brilliance of this, okay? I promise that all you have to do, okay, try this. Do an informal sales pitch. And we're going to walk through this. So the number one key to an informal sales pitch is, one, don't tell them how bad they are. Do not draw their own conclusions. And two, I promise you, if you pitch the right people in this way, you will get a follow-up appointment. You will put yourself in a position where they're going to experience the other potential vendors that they're going to reach out, because they are going to shop your competition, whatever that looks like. And then gives you this amazing ability from a follow-up perspective to come back in as the cleanup crew, right? Let's use baseball as a quick analogy. Does the starting pitcher or the relief pitcher get most of the credit? Whose name gets put in the headlines? The relief pitcher, the closer. The closer gets all of the recognition, and the starting pitcher, sometimes if they're really good and they do all of these things over and over and over and over again, then they get recognized in the headlines. But a closer can walk in a game of baseball, pitch 2 innings, do six strikeouts, right? 6 strikeouts, boom, boom, boom. And they make the headlines every time. So let's dig in. I'm going to share my screen with you. I'm going to share, it's a fictitious pitch deck, okay? I'm using myself as the example. So you're going to have to do this. You're going to have to do this for whoever you're pitching, okay? Now, the tool that I'm using that I mentioned in the last video is a tool called Canva. It's free. It allows you all of these different templates to create outstanding free templates, right? Some are paid, some are free. This is using a free presentation deck, not making any changes but the information that's already there, because after all, it already looks outstanding. And then taking the information from the website, from their website, and then pitching them with their data, with the stuff that they've already created, and then allowing them to draw their conclusions. So I'm not going to be on screen. I'm going to share a full screen, and I'm going to walk through the process of pitching myself. Okay, how would I feel based on what I already know, which is my website, one of my websites, and the agency hacker is still being developed, okay, because this is early on, so I'm still putting it all together. But if I were pitching me based on my current assets and then using that information to drive thought, okay, plant seeds, and then give myself an opportunity and build a relationship, you're about to see me pitch me. Are you ready? Let's share the screen. Oh. So thank you for having me, Mr. Bennett. I appreciate the opportunity to go over your company and the insights that I've seen. Thank you for taking this meeting. Let's go ahead and get started with what I see as a person visiting Agency Hacker's website. Agency Hacker. Oh, oh, let's do it this way. Oh, I went backwards. Let me start over. All right, Agency Hacker, building your agency. Again, thank you for having me, Mr. Bennett. Creativity can solve almost any problem. That quote comes from George Lois. Here's what I see, Mr. Bennett, when I go through your website, and please correct me if I'm wrong in any way. I'm just going through your website as a consumer, as somebody who would be interested in your brand. So I went to Agency Hacker, and the very first thing that I noticed, Mr. Bennett, is your focus is on building your agency. Is that correct? Absolutely. Simple question, right? And then your follow-up message, Mr. Bennett, is you're helping agency owners build and grow using a no-nonsense approach. Do I have that right? In Agency Hacker Services, you provide videos, tutorials, and brand strategy. You're using a format of bite-sized clips, explainer videos, interviews, and social media. Is all of that accurate, Mr. Bennett? In Agency Hacker Benefits, you're engaging, you're encouraging, you're understandable, you're creating a duplicatable process, which is outstanding. And you provide real benefits through branding, marketing, design, and sales. Now, the final steps in your process, Mr. Bennett, is your approach. You're creating positive change and you're allowing people who are looking to start their agencies to experience better return on investment, which is outstanding. Everybody needs that. When I look at your client reviews, Mr. Bennett, I see client reviews from Joshua Birch, who you helped every step of the way. So I see that great foreman function, and I see that you helped Ms. Maldonado. That they see you as an incredible visionary. Is all of that information accurate? And then you have Tamek, who's a content strategist who recommends your channel, which is also outstanding. Now, what I do see is I see that the results are creating story-centric, unique, disruptive, and engagement, or that it's engaging, which is also outstanding to build your brand. And it looks like your team has Bradley Bennett as the host, and then you have Jim Bob as a videographer and Jane Bob as a copywriter. Does that accurately depict your team? And here's where you're located. Here's all of your information. You're located at anywhere street in any city, and you're looking to engage. Does all of that? Now I'm gonna flip back, okay, because this is important. All right. So what you just did there is all you did with the informal pitch is you drove whoever is sitting in front of you to reflect on what their messaging is. All right. Now, myself as the person who's being pitched, I would be a little bit embarrassed because I don't think that what was just described to me accurately depicts everything that I'm trying to do. So what I've done is I've actually caused whoever that decision maker is, the CEO, the VP of marketing, whatever the size of the company is. What I've done is I've pushed this out. I've talked in a very positive manner that this is what I see is depicting your efforts, your actions. Does that speak for everything that you stand for? Okay. I have not. The key to this is I have not told them anything negative. Anything negative. I just went through 17 slides in the course of 2 minutes. Okay. Now, what that does is it pushes whoever that decision maker is into fact finding, or it allows you to go into fact finding mode based on pointing out what you already know does not completely envelop all of what they're trying to accomplish. Okay, so you've taken the CEO that's sitting in front of you and you've given them, hey, I went to your website and here's what I see. Okay, is this an accurate depiction? Because this is outstanding. Is there anything else? Is there anything else to that? What you're doing is you're pointing out flaws without pointing out flaws. You did not make a sales pitch. And then generally what's going to happen immediately, okay? Immediately after that is they're going to want to go into sales mode. The very next thing you do is not pitch. Do not pitch that client. You will fail the moment you start pitching that client and move into sales mode. The informal pitch is meant to build a relationship and trust and value. Initial value, not complete value. So you're saying, Mr. Bennett, here's what I see. It looks outstanding. Does that meet all of your expectations of your branding? And let's talk about it. Now, I would come back and say, well, that isn't everything that I stand for. That isn't everything that I'm trying to do. I completely understand, Mr. Bennett. Completely understand. That's what I see when I go to your website as a general consumer. That's what I see, and I think it's an outstanding value. What would you add? What would you want to add as far as services? Well, our team isn't. That isn't our team. That's changed. Our messaging. We've added all of these other things. Um, is that that's not accurate? Okay. Now that's creating a conversation. And now you're gaining buy-in that you're not somebody that's just sitting there trying to make a sale. Do you see how that works? I will openly admit that not all, some of my best clients are also now very good friends and trusted confidants. Um, We speak regularly, not just about business, but we talk about a multitude of things, a plethora of things. And this is your opportunity. You aren't walking in the door saying, give me $4,000 a month. You're not walking in the door saying, give me $250 a month. You're not walking in the door asking for anything. You are developing a relationship, and relationships allow people to make decisions based on who they like. And I got news for you. As they're going through and they're getting all of these different bids, and they have $3,000-$4,000 a month bids for services in place, which one are they going to choose? The one that they feel has the most value, has the most knowledge, and most importantly, the one that they like the best. Okay. So again, let's get back to that informal pitch. You're going to be asked a plethora of questions afterwards. You're going to point out everything that you see within their company. The what is it? It's the informal pitch. What does it mean? You're developing a relationship. You're having an informal conversation. You're going to get pushback that I don't care who it is. Every CEO is going to say, this isn't what I want my messaging to be. Okay. Every one of them. I don't care how big it is, how big the company is. No CEO will agree that that's their messaging. And then you're going to have a discussion, a very informal discussion. And through that discussion process, they're going to express their pain points. Now, don't pitch. Have the discussion. Talk about how would you go about how would you perceive your message being better? What are the pain points? They're just going to tell you, because you didn't come in and say, you suck at this, you suck at that, you suck at this, and you should hire us because of it. Okay. Please, please, please do not do that. So now, what's the end stage? That person is going to say, hey, this is what I see. This is the direction that I see we should go in. Now, what that does is it gives you an opportunity. Absolutely. I would love to present to you what those solutions look like. Can we do another follow-up meeting in 2 weeks? Does that work? Or 3 weeks? Now, I did certain things. I said 2 weeks or 3 weeks. I didn't say next week. I didn't say tomorrow. Because the very next thing they're going to do within that informal pitch process is they're going to give you their timeline and their sense of urgency. Now, if that CEO comes back and says, no, Brad, I need this. If today's Tuesday, when this video is being recorded, can you come back in on Friday? Absolutely. Is all of this the information that you would like me to put together within a presentation deck or a pitch deck? Because it gives you an opportunity with this process that they also understand that when you come back next time, they are expecting a pitch. Okay? So they're going to talk, maybe they have other vendors in place, maybe they're going to bid you against the competition, which generally happens. But let's say they come back, the CEO comes back and says, I really need you to come back on Friday. Can you do that? Absolutely, I will try. If I can't do Friday, is there a possibility for Tuesday of next week? You see what I did there? Okay. I didn't force that down their throat. I didn't literally say, sure, Mr. CEO, I can come back tomorrow. And the reason why you put that out there is because if a CEO says, hey, can you come back tomorrow? Two things are going to happen. One, that CEO is going to think, wow, you don't have any other clients if you can come back tomorrow. Okay. Which may be true. But more importantly, in the pitfall that you fall into with bigger clients is if you're willing to come back tomorrow, they are actually going to make a realization that you will be at their beck and call if they sign a contract with you. Okay, and you don't want to put yourself in a position where the client thinks that they have all of the control. And I've been there too. All right, so let's do a quick review. We're at almost 23 minutes in this video. Create the informal pitch. Get to know your client. Do not pitch them on money, on exact changes that need to be made within their processes, because you could step on yourself real quickly. You could literally have them shut you down, which happens more times than none. Create that relationship. Put yourself in a position with that informal sales pitch that just describes what you see within their current branding. Have the conversation, which could literally be a 20-minute meeting. And you will build more value within that first 20 minutes of this informal sales or this informal pitch process, that they will give you so much information and so much ammunition to use at that point in time. And they're going to give you their timeline that they're going to welcome you back. You obviously need to follow up with them. Hey, thank you for having me in to discuss how what I see from your brand. I appreciate the opportunity that you're giving to me to come back and talk in more detail about what your needs are and how we get from point A to point B. And I'm looking forward to our meeting on such and such date at such and such time. That's what it takes. Or you can be that person who literally says, you suck, you suck, you suck. Hire us, hire us, hire us. And I promise you, you will not be successful. Try out the informal sales or pitch process. Tell me how it worked for you. Give me some feedback. Open up that door And don't push your product and services down somebody's throat. And then let me know how it worked out for you. Press the subscribe button. Like the video. Use the tools. Tell me I suck. Tell me you disagree. Give some constructive feedback. What would you like to see? I'd love to walk you through that process. Thanks for watching.